So I went to log in this morning for a little bit just to do some inventory management and clean up some skills and stuff before I did my stream today. And then an hour later, I found myself still playing Throne and Liberty, which is a good sign. That means I'm having fun. More fun than I thought I was going to have. Um, I originally tried this in the open beta and was like, there's enough here that if I get some free time, I'm happy to jump in because it's free to play. There's no risk on my part. I don't think there's going to be enough story here to keep me long term, but I think there's enough here to try it. And yesterday, I realized that I had a break in my schedule for a few days and saw it in the Xbox store and was like, well, I tried the open beta on PS5. Let's try this on the Series X, see what I think. And it was pretty fun yesterday when we did the stream and doing the inventory management this morning. I was running around and trying to just train myself to the way that they do the controls. And I found myself this morning having a lot of fun. The gameplay is really good once you get used to the weirdness of their controls, the weirdness of their camera, and the way they do things. There obviously is still some jank here and there, and the story is still pretty mid, but the gameplay is smooth as hell. It's a beautiful looking game, and I gotta admit that like the morphine and all this other stuff is really cool. I've yet to do any dungeons. If I do, I'm not really interested in anything hardcore. I'm not going to be joining a guild in this game. I don't care about the PvP. I'm just here to play this mostly like a single player action RPG. This kind of reminds me a little bit of what I've seen so far of Crimson Desert, I think is what it's called. Um, but anyway, I digress. So the big hang up for me in the early hours of the game was not quite understanding how the camera worked, and that is a me thing, not a everybody thing. Definitely, it was a me thing, because I just for some reason did not see that when you move your cursor around something, it's gonna give you, as long as you're in the vicinity. It's like the combat targeting in World of Warcraft. Um, as long as your cursor is in the range of something, you targeted that thing, whether it's that or this bait right here, right? But then there's target lock, because when you go through the tutorial, it tells you about target lock and makes it feel like that is, and that's target lock right there. It makes it sound like that's the only thing that you could do. So the earliest stages of me playing the combat were like always going into target lock and having just an absolute miserable time because I don't like the way their target lock works because of the default camera. The default camera does not let you move around, and I didn't know that, so I had to go into these settings so that I could move the camera around. There's an option you have to uncheck. That was a little bit of the weirdness and the jank that I was talking about. But this morning I've been practicing just going into combat, and honestly, um, it's been pretty good. Oh, the other thing I did was I turned up the camera rate of the speed, the turn rate, because it was horrific in the like the default options. So once I did that, I've been having a genuinely way better time in combat. Oh, I can't use that. Come on now. There we go. I think I could still crank up the look speed just a little bit, but overall, like I said, I finally feel like I'm getting it when it comes to the combat now. Whereas before I was really struggle busting, and now that I've gotten it, of course I'm still not good at blocking. Like that purple flashing was the block window, and I'm still not very good at that. But bam! One thing I wish would happen is that ability right there that I used, where I dash to the target and I run behind it. I wish the camera would automatically pivot you around to the front, and I don't know if it's going to do that, or not around to the front. Here, I'll show you what I mean. So I'm facing the mob this way, right? If I attack this guy with this ability, he's going to transport to the other side and be turned around like that, and now I'm facing the camera. What I would love to happen is an automatic camera spin at that moment to turn me back around. Because it feels weird to suddenly be facing myself. It's a weird thing. And that's just some of the, like, so there's some weird choices they've done with, like, controls, camera placement, camera movement, and so on and so forth, which adds to the overall kind of feeling of jankiness because I'm not used to the way they do things. The other one is like, as an example, the B button, which is the what, square button, circle button on the PlayStation controller, um, is usually like to duck or dodge back or things. Here it only cancels target. So if you want to dodge, you have to. So LB does block, right? You have to hold block. Well, you have to tap block and hold in direction like this. And you have to have stamina for it too. So essentially you want to be like pulling back and then hit the right, but it uses stamina just as if you were doing a block. So it's a weird. I mean, I kind of get it now that I've done it a few times, but I almost never use the dodge ability at all. I hardly ever use the block, to be honest with you, and I'm sure at some point I'm getting to the point where the mobs become difficult enough where I need to actually pay attention to block, but that hasn't happened yet. Right now it's still very much stuff that I don't really have a problem unless there's like 4 or 5 mobs. If there's 4 or 5 mobs, I have died. I think once I've died because I got too many mobs on me and got overwhelmed. I love that mantling, man. Big shot, big shot, big shot. Boom. Shakalaka. So, okay. I went around and ran around and did some side quests today. I think the overall mid commentary I had from before is still here for storyline. The side quests are awfully dull, very fetch questy. The main quest, I also, and anyone who's been around my channel for any length of time knows this, anytime you throw the prophesied one at me, where you've got like some sort of special, shard inside of you, you're the Starborn. That stuff always makes me immediately shake my head and go, yep, you've got a crap story. And generally speaking, it's just the most tropiest stuff you can find. There are bits and pieces of originality to it, which is great. The characters, the main characters, I haven't fallen in love with them yet. They just kind of seem like generic story characters that I've seen in a million other free-to-play games. So that part doesn't really get me. But what is drawing me in, to be honest with you, just to be point blank serious here for a minute, stuff like this, that is so much fun. And then, of course, I almost kill myself. But look at this stag head up here. And then if you look out over here, like that structure, the game itself is just so damn beautiful. And I was saying this the other day, I thought the game was, honestly, I thought it was, let me see if I can do this here. Yep, there we go. I honestly thought the game was built on Unreal 5, and it's just a highly polished version of Unreal 4. And it looks just breathtaking. And so I've been having a lot of fun just running around this world and this game map and kind of going, ooh, that looks pretty, that looks pretty. And Chris actually watched my video from yesterday on YouTube after the stream. Or on, I think she saw my YouTube, or I think she saw my TikTok short. And her comment was, wow, that character is really pretty. So she was going in here, and I'm going to go into the camera settings here. Like, I've done not the best job in the world, but I've started to get some cosmetics together. The one thing was I wasn't able to really make my character look as old as I wanted them to look, and now they look a little weird with the hood on. Otherwise, they have long hair. But like the armor sets are absolutely breathtaking. They've done a good job with the character modeling. So on a visual standpoint, it looks good. And that has definitely pulled me in a little bit enough to make me want to go explore this beautiful world that they've presented. I still don't care about any of the storyline. It's got a lot of like mobile type things to like level up your skills and stuff. The stuff that I've seen in mobile games, and I'll never use the battle pass or the cash shop. But it's like what would be a good way to put this? It's like a highly polished, free-to-play MMO that plays like a lot of other free-to-play MMOs, but it looks so damn good, and the combat's pretty fun once you get to understand how it's working. So visually, there's enough there to make me go, this is kind of fun as eye candy. We've probably all dated someone like that in our lifetimes, right? Anyway, I'm having more fun than I thought I would. I'm going to be continuing to play this game over the next few days, leading up to New World Aeternum, which I'll be playing on the PS5. Daily streams at 9 a.m. Mountain, everybody on YouTube and Twitch. And in between the streams, I do stuff like this, movie reviews, TV reviews, all that other stuff. There's a ton of playlists. Check them out. There's a Homestead channel, a Discord, and a Patreon if you want to get involved with my stuff as a fantasy and sci-fi author. Otherwise, it's early. It's 5 a.m. I got to go out and do chores. See you guys next time.